10-year jail term awaits Ponzi scheme promoters as President Tinubu ascends to investment and securities law. APC in Edo in buoyant mood after election tribunal upheld Governor Okpebholo's victory. Perhaps there's an end, maybe, in sight for the Natasha saga after INEC rejected petition to recall her. An acting secretary of PDP South Zone says the party will resolve its problems amicably. We have this and more on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. A minimum of 10-year jail term and 20 million naira fine awaits those found guilty of promoting Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. This follows the signing by President Tinubu of Investment and Securities Bill 2024. Other highlights of the law, as explained by the Chairman Senate Committee on Capital Market, Senator Osita Zunazo, include the recognition of cryptocurrency as a form of security in Nigeria. And this will enable Nigerians trade on digital assets under the regulation of the Securities and Exchange Commission to ensure transparency and protect investors.
Ponzi, insider trading, and market manipulations are over. Today, if you are caught in a Ponzi market arrangement, you have a risk of going to jail for 10 years and also pay a fine of over 20 million naira to 40 million naira, and all the money that you took from people will also be recovered from you. It's an economic sabotage not only for the country, but also for the people involved.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has rejected petition to recall the Senator representing Kogi Central, the Senatorial District, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, after a meeting of the Commission to consider and approve the report of its physical count of the signatures and thumbprints forwarded with petition for the recall exercise. In a press statement released on the X-handle and signed by the Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeku, INEC says the petition for the recall did not comply with Section 69A of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which requires the signatures of more than one-half of the registered voters in the constituency. He added that consequently, no further action shall be taken on the recall of the senator, and the Senate in line with the position of Clause 2D and the regulations and guidelines for recall 2024, the Commission has issued a public notice to that effect. Let me welcome our guest today, a public affairs analyst, Jide Ojo. We'll just first welcome you and take 2 or 3 stories so that we'll just begin to interrogate some of the issues emanating from our political space. First, let me thank you for joining us, of course, at a short notice as well. And the politics has begun. So let's move on to the next story. The leadership tussle within the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, took a decisive turn Thursday as the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, dismissed the suit filed by a factional leader loyal to Senator Rabi Kwankwaso, which sought to challenge the legitimacy of the party's current leadership under its founder, Chief Boniface Aniebonam, and the national chairman, Dr. Agbo Major. The factional national secretary of the party, Olaposi Ogini, in a statement issued in Abuja, said in the case filed by Dr. Ahmed Ajuji and 20 others aimed to invalidate the authority of the NNPP's Board of Trustees and its executive leadership. The claimants had asked the court to restrain these officials from convening meetings, conducting congresses, presiding over the party's national convention, arguing that they had been expelled from the NNPP. The court also declared the case non-justifiable. In a landmark judgment, Justice Emi Hassan ruled that the court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the suit, affirming that internal party disputes such as leadership, membership, and membership issues are beyond judicial intervention. With the verdict, the court effectively dismissed all relief sought by the claimants, thereby affirming that Dr. Agbo Major-led NNPP leadership remains the legitimate authority overseeing the party's affairs, and also upheld the legitimacy of the party's congresses and national convention, which saw the election of the current leadership. Still talking about judicial processes, looking at our electoral space, the Supreme Court has set aside the verdict of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which affirmed Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party. In a unanimous decision, the 5-member panel of justices of the Apex Court ruled that the Court of Appeal lacked the jurisdiction to affirm Abure's position as Labour Party's national chairman. The court held that the substance of the case centered on party leadership, which falls under internal party affairs, a matter over which the court lacked a jurisdiction. The Supreme Court effectively nullified the Court of Appeal's earlier decision, reinforcing its stance that leadership disputes within political parties should be resolved internally rather than through judicial intervention. Let's go back to our guest, Jide Ojo. You have seen some of the issues emanating from our courts settling political disputes, especially those bordering on perhaps house cleaning, talking about internal party issues. But let's start from the Labour Party. Julius Abure, the saga has been on, but now the intervention of the court says that it's an internal party issue and no court can just say you are the chairman of a party.
Well, I think this should lay to rest the leadership also within the Labour Party. It's a very tragic development because in the lead up to 2023 elections, not a few Nigerians believe that Labour Party was the third force, and in actual fact, it came third in the presidential election. And people felt this provides an alternative platform to edge out the ruling All Progressive Congress. But since that time till now, the party has been unsettled by leadership crisis. And I'm very happy with the consistency of our Supreme Court. Not many people understand why the Supreme Court is saying that the issue of leadership and membership of a party is an internal affairs issue. Recall that even, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, the Supreme Court held the same position on secretaryship of People's Democratic Party, which where it affirms that issue of whether Senator Anyanwu is the rightful secretary or not is an internal affairs of PDP. Now, we have seen in the NNPP case, which you also highlighted, that the Court of First Instance have upheld that the Supreme Court has said issues of internal affairs of political parties in terms of leadership, in terms of membership, is the internal affairs, so that they don't even come to clog our judicial process with all manner of litigations. In fact, many criminal and civil cases have suffered at the behest of deluge of political matter that the court has to weigh in on. And I hope that Labour Party can do proper house cleaning and explore an alternative dispute resolution mechanism to effectively resolve its leadership crisis. There must be an end to litigation. And I think they have come to bust up in terms of litigation over who is the rightful leader. The court has effectively also paid to who is the authentic chairman of national chairman of Labour Party, when he said, as part of his judgment, that the tenure of Abure has expired. If the tenure of Abure has expired, then there must be a new round of congresses and national convention that will add in a new leadership national working committee. And right now, this will also lay to rest the Nigerian Labour Congress claim that it owns the Labour Party, because it was the NLC faction that actually instituted the Esther Nanadi Ismail, former Minister of Finance, as an interim caretaker committee, pending the time when they will have proper congresses and national convention. And you will see that Alex Otti has been proved right with the effort it has made. Alex Otti and Peter Obi, they've made strenuous effort to ask Abure to respect judicial intervention. But Abure felt he has court on his side. But right now, at least Alex Otti, as the only governor of Labour Party, and Peter Obi as the former presidential candidate, together with the caretaker committee, can now herald a rebirth of Labour Party. I'm very glad with what Supreme Court has done. I hope, like I said, it will put paid to leadership tussle. And if there is any other further crisis, let them explore the possibility of an ADR mechanism. INEC has an ADR directorate, which they can take advantage of to resolve whatever crisis they have within their party.
But let me ask you, in your, looking at this and what has transpired in other parties before now, who would supervise this process of transition to the next stage? One has been told to step aside, of course, like you just alluded to. Of course, the NLC also put in a structure to work on interim basis. How should that process go in terms of, midwifing the next stage of the helmsmanship of the party?
Isayo, let me take you on a historical discourse. Recall that similar thing has happened to PDP some years ago after the ouster of Senator Ali Modu Sherif, and when the former Kaduna State Governor McAfee was put as the head of interim caretaker committee for PDP. It was the McAfee's interim management caretaker committee that superintended the affairs of conducting fresh congresses and convention, which eventually gave birth to Uche Secondus. If you recall, it was after the McAfee caretaker committee supervised the congresses and convention of PDP that Uche Secondus was eventually elected as the substantive chairman of PDP. So what I foresee in Labour Party is that the ex-finance minister, Senator Nana-Ado Usman, will be the one to now supervise, that caretaker committee will now be the one to supervise the congresses and conventions, which will lead to the birth of a new national working committee, national executive committee, as well as the state and local government structures. And they have to do this very early enough, because the ripple effect of this is that there is a November election in Anambra. Now that Abure has been sacked, who will supervise the conduct of party primaries? It will have to be the caretaker committee that will supervise that. And because by this time next year, preparation for next general election will be in earnest, it is in their elective best interest to quickly sheath the sword, embark on reconciliation with those who believe in the leadership of Abure, so that they can jointly form a formidable force to contest 2027 election. And before then, there are 3 gubernatorial circle elections. Remember the one coming in Anambra in November this year, the Ekiti and Osun off-circle governorship election next year, before the general election in 2027. And the time is very short. The time is very short. And I do hope what the Supreme Court has done will also help them to halt the defection of their elected representatives, which has been happening in leaps and bounds, because many of their elected representatives, as a result of this leadership crisis, have defected to the All Progressive Congress. If you go to Enugu, the governorship candidate of Labour Party in Enugu, is it Emmanuel Edeoga, just went back to PDP. Some of the state House of Assembly members that won under Labour Party have gone to PDP. So I hope what the Supreme Court has done will now help them rebuild the party and stop the defection, which has been the lot of the party for some time now.
All right, I think you have made your point on that. Let's just look at this other, litigation process. It was in court, and then the recall process also started, and now INEC has put paid to that. Talking about Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. You've not spoken too much about this, or I've not read any of your articles on this. But do you see perhaps an end in sight to this back and forth, as far as it, the status of the senator is concerned, as well as, how this has played out, even in how effective the senator has been able to carry out his duties, in view of the intensity of public view on that institution in the past few months?
Well, I want to commend INEC for doing the right thing. INEC, by what it did yesterday, has somewhat redeemed itself. Don't forget that INEC conducted the senatorial election where Senator Natasha was initially not declared the winner. The APC candidate was declared winner, and Natasha has to go through the tribunal and the Court of Appeal to wrestle and secure and got a mandate. Now, this is the second attempt to deny her that seat, which is after she won an election through the court, she now have to also survive another recall move. And I'm very happy that INEC was very thorough in handling this issue of recall, because all along INEC was briefing the public about the steps. When the petition was initially submitted, sometime last month, INEC came out and said the petitioners did not put their contact details, email address, house address, phone numbers, and it was rejected. They quickly supplied that. Then INEC said, we have received that, we will proceed to the next stage. The next stage was what terminated yesterday, because they were claiming that they have 250,000 plus people who signed that petition. But when INEC did a count, they found out that it wasn't up to the number that was claimed, which made it not to be in full compliance with Section 69A of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. So the INEC has said, by not fulfilling that Section 69, this has become end of the road. But let me say this out very quickly. It's a political intrigue. Issues around impeachment and recall are political machinations. And the more you look, the less you see. I will not be too surprised if another attempt is made by our producers to resubmit that petition. But whatever it is, I think it will...
Let's wait until then, Jide Ojo. Thank you so much for your intervention. We've moved from internal party democracy to, the discussions on recall. And of course, like you said, she survived this. We expect to see how this plays out, and hopefully the institution will go to its primary, duty of making laws, and then will take this away from the distractions they've had over a few months now. Now, moving on to something that is, political or political. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has debunked the rumor that he collapsed and was flown to France. The minister dismissed this rumor during an inspection tour of some ongoing projects in the FCT.
The screeching ambience of construction equipment at various project sites visited is all in a bid to deliver on schedule, marking the second anniversary of President Tinubu's administration, with another set of projects is on the mind of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, as he inspected the ongoing critical infrastructure projects earmarked for inauguration. While expressing satisfaction with the quality and level of work, the minister dismissed the rumor making the rounds that he collapsed and was flown to France, describing it as a blackmail by those who want to earn cheap political gain.
Very much impressed with the contractors handling these projects. Very much impressed, and you can attest to the fact that this is a quality job being carried out. I've said before that we are going to inaugurate several of these projects in Mr. President's second year anniversary. There was not a time I collapsed, there was not a time anybody took me over. But you see me every day. The day Mr. President broke Iftar, that is birthday, I was there. The next day, I led Abuja residents to play Salah Beach. And see all those stories just died down. This is politics. We have thick skin. Those who don't bother us. We are not distracted. We are focused on our job. So I thank Nigerians for being, for really worried that this should be. But people should not wish their fellow human beings such a thing to happen. We know that we will die one day. Nobody will remain in this world forever. But it's only God that says the day you will die, not any human being to say you will die today or you will die tomorrow. So nobody has said, we have seen that. I'm very happy that most of them will, because I will write their condolence letters. I can assure you that I will write their condolence letters.
The projects inspected include the interchange at Nikon Junction connecting Maitama with Gishiri District, the judges' quarters, and other arterial routes, as well as the International Conference Center, where works have reached advanced stages of completion. Onoze Yakubu.
All right, in the course of the week, on Wednesday, specifically, the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal dismissed 2 petitions challenging the victory of Monday Okpebholo as governor. The 3-man tribunal led by Justice Wilfred Pochi gave the order in Abuja, and our reporter Dele Atumbi captured it.
21 days after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared the result of the Edo State governorship, the tribunal received 3 petitions. The petitioners are Action Alliance and its candidate, Accord Party and its candidate, the People's Democratic Party and its candidate. All the petitioners were challenging the victory of Senator Monday Okpebholo in the governorship election conducted on September 21, 2024. The petition of the Action Alliance contained pre-election matters which robbed the tribunal of jurisdiction. The tribunal therefore dismissed the petition.
The tribunal has given its reasoning. Our clients have shown that they are not satisfied, so we'll wait for further instructions.
The Accord Party alleged electoral malpractices during the conduct of the election, but failed in its burden of proof. The tribunal was left with no other option than to dismiss the petition. The tribunal equally dismissed the petition of the People's Democratic Party for lacking in merit.
The judiciary has once again demonstrated its capacity to deliver justice.
With the dismissal of the 3 petitions, the tribunal affirmed the election of Monday Okpebholo as the governor of Edo State. With this verdict, the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal legally has now become functions official.
Dele Atumbi's report from the Election Petition Tribunal focusing on Edo governorship election rounds off political update today. We'll be back on Tuesday for a fresh package. I'll be looking at off-cycle elections. We're looking at the PDP as well, and some controversies, so push and shove as far as some positions are concerned, especially in the South. We'll be having a guest for that. So between now and then, play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest and finest, for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye.